We are live while YouTube starts to deliver my link to everybody. Oh, there is someone here in the room. Today the analysis is going to be a little bit shorter because I got a consultation to attend. So I might not be able to wait to everybody to arrive. So I'm just leaving this message here. So as you can watch later, you know it's like that. This time the reading is going to be slightly shorter than it usually is, like this 1 hour. And hello Gloria, nice to see you here. And so today we're gonna be analyzing the TRECENA of 1Kawuq. Can you leave a family? Oh yeah, it's true. Yes, just a few moments after this reading, then we just go onto our consultation, which I'm really looking forward to analyze your nawals. So before I don't run out of time and I'm late for your consultation, so I will start here so and the others can catch up whenever they are rewatching this live. So everybody, we are just finishing the TRECENA of the 1Kawuq, the 13th TRECENA. This TRECENA was the one that we spoke about the suffering or the support that can accumulate in cut or healing that can lead to a very intense path, or can be something that can fill the path with melancholy. The tihash is the now that we talk about the cut, like the words that heal, the words that cut, like our communication, how we communicate with the ancestors, how we create this connection with them, asking for healing, asking for their support. So tihash, we can talk about the great communication that can allow us to communicate with the ancestors, to ask for their support, ask for their support so maybe they could heal us during our path. So the TRECENA of 13 tihash also could accumulate it in the cut. In the cut, like as if Kame, there's now the ancestors, which is what we started the previous TRECENA, spoke about like pressure in the heart, or like suffering, frustration, depression. So if somebody started with the depression, if you are just accumulating more wounds in the TRECENA as the knife continues to cut, you can lead to a path with just melancholies. And that was the thing that we wanted to avoid as we analyze the past TRECENA, because this was the TRECENA of healing, where we could heal our bonds with the ancestors. Maybe we could feed them. We can learn how to communicate with the wind, to access them, to get their support. So then they can help us to cut things that doesn't serve to our path so we can move forward. And as we are moving forward, we arrive to this 1Kawuq, the 13 monkey or thread TRECENA. This can be a very auspicious TRECENA because the energy of bats, the monkey or the thread, tend to be easier to channel because it leads with more practical stuff, such as when you have to put things into action, or when you have like two taxes in here and you have to connect the dots, so you're already seeing something in there. So it's about interweaving of thoughts and ideas and or work that you gotta do. It's about creating a business or putting things into action, resolving the problems. So the problems that we couldn't cut in the previous TRECENA because we were pondering, we didn't know what strings to cut, or like how we would carve in the previous TRECENA. Now we can solve things in this one. So if in the previous TRECENA was the TRECENA that we spoke about cutting the things or healing the path, now if we cut the accumulation of thoughts that were arriving, that was like weighing us down in the previous TRECENA, Now this TRECENA can start with something troubled that can accumulate with us entangled with more knots, or accumulate with us becoming more frustrated for not being able to proceed with the things we wanted to do. So this TRECENA can be a very, very auspicious one where you can, if you are able to cut, now you are able to receive the clarity, the storm of ideas that can accumulate in these big interconnections. And why we are accumulating these interconnections in this TRECENA? It's about, obtaining knowledge to apply, in a practical way. It's a knowledge so you can apply, so you can be, acting in a smart way, or act like wiser, facing a situation in which you requires you to intervene somehow. So this is gonna be the TRECENA, or whether we are create something that's gonna be great, like very wise, something that we can like create our tapestry, but this also can be the TRECENA where we can end up getting entangled and also poisoned with our own ideas if you don't follow that correctly. So for being this TRECENA that we talk about putting things into action, getting these interconnections, because BATS is the access of knowledge by connecting ideas. You see something here, something that goes here, and then you have the big picture. That's something that connects to BATS. But we're gonna be starting this TRECENA with 1Kawuq, one sheet lightning. 1Kawuq, the sheet lightning, we talk about, like the brightening of the lightning bolts. You may not see the lightning, but you can see, the clarity of the lightning because it reflects in the clouds. So it's just like when you have like a light of something. So if Tihash was the one able to cut the thoughts, like the accumulation of thoughts, for you to be free for your path, so you can ponder more stuff, you can advance. Now that you are free from the weight of your thoughts, now you have more clarity, you have more peace of mind, so you have more room so the light can come in. So that's something that we're going to be analyzing in this TRECENA, what is going to be giving the theme, like this storm of clarity, of light that can accumulate in so many brilliant ideas, that can accumulate in the tapestry of our projects, can accumulate us with solutions about what to do or solve something in our lives. So it can be a very practical TRECENA, a TRECENA that can be great, that we can access with a little bit of more joy, because it talks about this creativity, arts, and spirituality, that many people can easily relate to that. So 1Kawuq, one sheet lightning, is gonna be, like this new light that arrives after we cut. When you are released from the burden that you are carrying in your path, now you are able to receive the light. Otherwise, if you accumulated melancholies in the past TRECENA, and also the cuts and the wounds, now Kawuq can start with another big trouble, or the new gossips in the air. If you are frustrated, maybe you're gonna be just talking to the wind about what you weren't able to do. So, and intuition, as I said, we call as unsolicited information. So if you are just drawn to this dark realm, your intuition is only gonna get something that you're gonna be channeling that. But if you're in your intuition, like you are focused about a project, if you need to access that like an information, you are more likely, to get that, to fish that idea directly from the source, that which we're going to be talking in Kawuq. Kawuq is the now of the big intuition, and now one is the water that breaks the skin of the earth and softly tries to looking for a path, which we're gonna be looking for that. So 1Kawuq is gonna be, giving the theme, that storm of the TRECENA that we can accumulate in these big ideas. Maybe it's going to be bringing the healing that you needed from the previous one. We don't know. It depends on how the TRECENA went for you, because this one is going to be continue what the one left. So 1Kawuq can be this storm of light, so it can give you many brilliant ideas. But the more you are focused on the tapestry that you want to bring, the interconnections you want to create at the end, because 1Kawuq, after Kawuq already shows his face, 1Kawuq is already take the control and start pushing things forward by the accumulation of the TRECENA. That's why we tend to see like the number one that can give us a team, like the big intuition, be able to receive brand new ideas that can add to our piece of work. But in the same place, 1Kawuq is already over there hitting this tapestry, already interweaving his work of artistry. And that's who we need to pay attention to from now on, like these two edges of the TRECENA. They are always going to be connected. So 1Kawuq, one sheet lightning, is going to be the beginning of this brand new deep intuition that can give you brand new ideas. Then from 1Kawuq we go to Keb-Hunarpu, 2 Conqueror Sun. Now 2 is now the retraction, now where we can recharge and calculate the stuff that we gotta do to reach the path that we like to. In Hunarpu is about the glow, just bring the glory. It talks about the battle of overcoming the darkness. Can also indicate that the false glow, something that we maybe not seeing, maybe we got confused by the light we receive in Kawuq and you start seeing too much, or maybe you can start just picturing yourself too much in gold. That can be something that is not going to be worth it for the battle. It can be like a false protection, like a false sense for the battle. So something that we need to be aware of. Can talk about like these illusions that we can create. So, and also talks about the metaphor of the seed that needs to go to the darkness of the underground to rise up as a flower to attract. Attract at the same way as you want to attract with our projects, with our work of artistry at the end of the TRECENA. So Keb-Hunarpu is to calculate what is the beauty, like what we want to attract with this big creation. Maybe you already, like the light of ideas of Kawuq already gives us a glimpse of where should we follow. So Keb-Hunarpu is to retract, to make the calculations, how you gonna obtain that, how you gonna get there, how you gonna paint your creation with all the glow of Hunarpu to attract, to persuade the people with your stuff. Or it can be also the retraction that you need to calculate so you know how to solve the problems of the battle. So you can use the light of the intuition that you just started in this TRECENA. It can be also the moment of the TRECENA that you can take one step back to look what went wrong in the past one, the things you couldn't cut because you were afraid of leaving the darkness. So Keb-Hunarpu will talk about retracting to see like the courage that you gotta do to face this battle from now on, this battle of putting the beauty into your projects. It's about bringing the shiny thing into your biggest creation that you're going to accumulate in this TRECENA. Otherwise, if you're not able to overcome the darkness, retracting by solving that, and if you can prefer to continue following the TRECENA on the dark, you can end up getting entangled. You don't know, not knowing where you're going to interweave, or maybe you're not going to know the steps, to follow the process to build, that work of artistry, your tapestry that you want to accumulate in this TRECENA. So Keb-Hunarpu 2 Sun is about to make the good calculations to see how you're gonna to bring the beauty you want to bring to the world in this TRECENA. And how you're going to use, your interconnections to intervene into something. If you need to get out of darkness, this could be like a great moment to, to see the stuff you gotta do as you gotta to recharge from the previous TRECENA before continue on in this one. And then from Keb-Hunarpu, we go to Oshib-Imosh, 3 water. Now 3 is a water that opens the path. After the 2 recharges, the 3 opens the path, goes forward. Is the most like forward, the first forward moment of the TRECENA where we can just flow with it. And then now Imosh is kind of a mirror of, it's kind of, I don't know if the connection fell, because for me in here, I don't know if it's okay for you. Just let me know if it's working for that. Otherwise, I just restart the live. Oh, it's okay. Good. So Oshibi Mosh is the water that opens the path. Now Oshibi and now 3 can also talk about the flow of water, the flow that is going to be opening the path, that's going to overcome the obstacles. You're going to try to surpass them no matter what. He has already enough strength. And now in Mosh, we can also connect, like similarly as the kind of mirrors in this meaning with the now 3, expressing the flow. So now in Mosh, we represent this flow of water, like this injection of force that you can add into some elements. So 3 in Mosh is about opening the path for the flow, or opening the path for injecting force to your ideas. Emosh also represents the collective consciousness, where you all tap into to get some ideas, but it can also be very confusing. You can grab some ideas that is not yours. So Emosh can be like a strong field that you need to know how to dose very well, otherwise it can get complicated in the second part of the TRECENA. So be aware in how much strength you're gonna be opening the path in this TRECENA. How you're gonna use the flow. So you want to start a flow that you are able to keep until the end of this accumulation. Otherwise, Emosh can be opening the path for the madness, because Emosh is the now of the imprecision. Is the like when you have like too much water and you are using like your bad hand to pour things or to carry stuff. Of course, there are water that's going to drop, you're going to lose a little bit, so you're not going to have so much precision. So 3 Mosh can be a very auspicious day for starting, just putting your ideas to see where they are going to develop, to see like how they're going to diverge, but not letting them diverge too much. If you did a good calculation into sun, now in 3 water, it's about to getting yourself to putting yourself in the flow of this creation. And then moving from 3 water, Oshibi Mosh, we go to Kahib Yek for wind. Now 4 is the now of the water that stops, gets stagnant, or just slowly accumulating more volume. So after the waterfall finds its way through the rocks, it's gonna fall in a pool of water that needs to accumulate more energy to fulfill the container until it overflows. So it's a step where you have to slowly get in straight, just like the water in the well. So now 4 is going to contain stuff, or just to put things into balance. And now Yek is the insufflation of life, is the now of enthusiasm. It can be a now of pushing things forward. Like when you have a courage of something, your enthusiasm can work as a fuel for you just to go forward and face your fears that you are restricted into sun. So now in 4 wind is the time to contain the excitement, because excitement can be like this fuel that can makes us just to produce a lot, but sometimes excitement can be blind. Can have like no direction, just like the wind. You want to go excited for that, and for that is excited about every single circumstances that Emosh diverge into. But you're not able to do everything. Like if you're just starting everything on your own, you need to choose one path to continue to be your main one. So you need to be centered. So 4 wind is the day to contain your excitement, to make sure you're gonna be able to follow the steps to build your tapestry, to build your piece of art, to make your interconnections. Because sometimes if your emotions, like your excitement is not contained, you can go all over the place. And if people go against your idea, you can explode and have like a temper tantrum, like Yek can express as well. And then from Kahib Yek for wind, we go to Hob Akabal, 5 clarity. Now 5 is the now that overflows, is the water that cannot be contained. When it's already took the shape from the container, but now the water is gonna overflow. If the dam breaks, nothing can contain the water. So that's the metaphor, it's the rough water that can cause destruction, but can also, if you take like a nice flow, if you're following the TRECENA, it can be something that can make you, speed up your process. And now Akabal is another now that talks about knowledge, or how we arrive into knowledge. Akabal is the first rays of the sun that illuminates what is in the dark. It can also represent this transition of light, from darkness to the light, and from the light to the darkness. We talk about what you decide to reveal and what you decide to conceal. So it has this double nature of going to the darkness with the light, so you can clarify stuff. So if you receive this light of intuition in 1Kawuq, represent like maybe you got an idea, like the bright light of something, but it was just something over there, but you don't know yet. Maybe you got a glimpse, how the big intuition told you what to do, but you cannot take that as a concrete, because you need to take some steps to see if that information is really valid. So, because you cannot trust your intuition 100%, because it's unsolicited information. Sometimes you can confuse stuff. Maybe the intuition could be talking about something, but you're excited and then you took for another stuff. Then you can just hit your face in the wall later on. That's why in this TRECENA we have this Hob Akabal, this 5 clarity. So if you got a light of something that we want to make our biggest creation, we want to make like our tapestry or biggest work of artistry, Akabal is going to be talking about where you can go and have more information. So after you contain your excitement, now it's time to put your feet on the floor and start just trying to get more concrete information. So you take the light that is started in 1Kawuq, one sheet lightning, and start just clarifying the light. What is in the dark about the subject that you got from the nawal. Now you can enter into the dark to find out more, to clarifying the more. It's about doing a research, maybe about just researching about the skills you need to complete your piece of work. Now in Akabal, you can do that. You can go, and search for the light that's still in the dark, like the light of that information that is still in the dark. So by researching, you can clarify. Maybe you can see if what you got as an intuition is really solid, so you can step in. So it's gonna be like concrete enough for you to continue working on that. Otherwise, Akabal is gonna be showing you all other stuff you need. But be careful for not spending too much time being too much perfectionist, which is something that Akabal tends to do. Tends to be complain when something doesn't go against, it's impossible perfection. So it can be something that can enter in the way. But if you just flow with this energy of Akabal, of researching, of just trying to find the light where it is still in the darkness inside of you, can be a great day. Can be a very, very auspicious day for creating, for putting your ideas on the paper, see what it works, what it doesn't work, what needs to gestate a little bit more, what it needs for you to put an extra effort to enjoy like this flow of the nawal 5. Because nawal 5 maybe can dictate where things can go wrong in the TRECENA. So we need to be careful in Hob Akabal. And then we move to 1Kawuq. We go to the heart of the TRECENA. Now 6 is the heart because it's the moment where we're going to ponder, put things into perspective, to see like how we're going to weigh that. You're going to weigh like the challenges and the traps. At the same time, you're going to weigh like the good things and the opportunities that you got. So then before you make a decision. And now Kat, you're going to be talking about like the way you carry on the stuff, on the things that you sacrifice yourself for to sustain. For example, the monthly bills you need to take care of. Sometimes you cannot dedicate as much time as you wanted to because you need to do an extra work because you gotta pay something like that you cannot avoid. That's now Kat, like those essential tasks that you have to be constantly doing, consuming your energy. So it can something that can be little by little adding to the weight of the things you're carrying. So sometimes you're not gonna be having a much energy to devote to your projects, to apply into your stuff. So you need to make sure in 6 burning into ashes, 6 cut, if you carry exactly like the materials that you need. So it's a day to ponder, maybe you are carrying like too much extra materials in your bag, and like the weight is going to be too heavy for you to continue work with this floor. Maybe Mosh gave you so many ideas and you don't know what to do there, but you kind of like them individually. So 6 cut is the day to ponder like which ones are worth it for you to keep sustaining, so they're not gonna be like an extra weight for the bag you're carrying. So try to use 6 cuts to solve the dramas why you cannot proceed in your creation. What steps before when you tried, replicating the same thing, where you fail because you had other stuff in your mind. So it's about to remove like this weight, so you can connect the thoughts more easily. So you can create a net with those threads. But be careful for the weight you're gonna be carrying in your net. And then from Wakib cut to 6 burning into ashes, we go to Ukub Khan, 7 stellar serpent. Nawal 7 is the nawal of the head of the TRECENA. We find the middle point can be also considered as the end, because in the nawal 8 we're going to return and the TRECENA is going to start over, and then what you're going to see in the number 13 is going to be what happens until the 7 just getting bigger and bigger in a way that you cannot avoid them. So now 7 is going to be talking about this hot lava, like the climax of the TRECENA. So why we are accumulating like this middle point between like this light of intuition that we got from Kawuq, and it's between the big interconnections that we can do with B'atz. After we clarify, we solidify the light of intuition of 1Kawuq, and with the connections that we are B'atz makes us do in this TRECENA. 7 stellar serpent is going to be the nawal that is going to be using that in a wise way. When you apply everything that you learned in a practical way, you can be wise, you can intervene, being more precise about something. It's not going to be something that you're just being researching, it's going to be over there that you can use there. Now 7 Khan, we talk about this intense wisdom, which is going to be related of how we use our actions to be more precise, to avoid just doing like the wrong shots at the moment, like the wrong calls at the moment, especially if you need to act in the behalf of someone. So 7 Khan, we talk about this intense wisdom that we can obtain from connecting the dots and obtaining this light of intuition. So we are able to intervene in the right moment. It's about on how we're going to be using all these dots the B'atz going to be connecting in this TRECENA. But otherwise, if this TRECENA tends to go to the entangled part of the nawal B'atz, if your ideas do not get together and you're just trying like everything in the freestyle, you didn't do a good calculation, you are aiming to the entangled part of the TRECENA, 7 Khan can indicate where you can implode, or can get furious, or you can get poisoned by your own ideas, can get suffocated, so you're going to be asphyxiating, just like when the python is suffocating the prey. So it's something that you need to be aware of. It's a very good and auspicious TRECENA, but you need to be very practical and objective about the things that you want to do. If you are willing to put our wisdom into practice, to see like what we learn through this life, only when you put things into action that you are able to realize. Because sometimes we can get the false idea that we are learning, but when the time is coming and you need to solve something in your life, that's the real moment that's going to be showing you like what you are made of, like how you're going to intervene into a situation that can be complicated. So that's how you start to know that you are growing, that you are maturing, that it's not just a knowledge you're retaining. You know how to use that properly. So that's something that you can find in Ukub Khan. And then moving from Ukub Khan, 7 Stellar Serpent, we go to Washakib Kame, 8 Ancestors. And there we get the return of the TRECENA. So the TRECENA returns for the second part. We already saw like where the TRECENA tends to go until the Nawal 7. So now it's just a matter until we see it accumulates, until all of these goals gets bigger and gets in front of us. We already got the light of intuition. We already know that we need to put things more into clarity, to research more, to bring things more into the light, so we can use this energy. Also, Khan taught us that we need to act smartly, like act with wisdom. So now the TRECENA returns with the Ancestors, 8 Kame. So if 8 Kame represents the return of the Ancestors, is where the Ancestors return. The last time we saw the Ancestors was the beginning of the previous TRECENA. So now the Ancestors return. Maybe they are stronger. Maybe they are more open, so you can listen. So they can listen to your voices. If Kawuq already gave you a light of something of intuition, maybe now they are returning to the same place. Now you can see the Ancestors. You can see the spirit of the Ancestors. Because there is this thing between the 1Kawuq, the sheet lightning, that we associate with the big intuition. This is where we touch the Ushlab shell, the deep consciousness of the earth. But also Kame is also like the soft and very deep energy of the Ancestors that are floating through the breezes of the earth that we can communicate with, we can get insights from. So if you're already able to light up a little bit something in Kawuq, 8 Kame can represent that you already can see the Ancestors. It's already easier to channel them, to get more information on how you can proceed, how many other ideas you can have, on how you're gonna deal with stuff. Or can be the return of support if you already start presenting your ideas, your work of artistry for someone else, for your friends. Can represent when you start to getting support to continue working on your idea. So that's gonna be something about Kame. But if you are just taking this stuff from this TRECENA to the cold side, if we start the TRECENA with troubled, we are unable to overcome, the darkness, and then we got, opening the path with madness, everything is under control, then Khan is a poison. Kame is gonna be the return of the suffering, the return of frustration. The frustration because you are unable to structure yourself enough to be able to handle that. So you're gonna feel like you're not able, but maybe you just weren't patient enough to follow the process in a way that's gonna be easier for you to connect stuff. So it can be a second return, like a second opportunity for you to do things once again. Maybe now you can see things even more clearer. Even maybe the light of Kawuq is already like bigger, and you already can see more stuff. Maybe you're ready to listen to the Ancestors to know what direction to go and how to proceed from there. So that's about like this returning of the TRECENA. Otherwise, you can go back to darkness. You can go back to your cold place, suffering, and that's what you're going to avoid in this nawal here in 8 Ancestors. And then we move to Belaer Ker 9 Deer. The nawal 9 is the nawal of the things that are running, in the darkness, and we are not paying attention. We talks about what is gestating in the dark, what is beyond our sight. So 9 is going to be talking what is developing over there in the cold. Just like there are underground rivers. You can be walking on the ground, but you don't even notice, but it's something over there. Or there is something that you do that is already gestating over there. It's just a matter of time, so it appears in front of you. It can happen like maybe 2 TRECENAs ahead, 3 TRECENAs ahead, a year ahead. It doesn't matter, but there is always something gestating in the dark that we are not paying attention to. So that's why this TRECENA we're going to be talking about the nawal Ker with the nawal 9. which is going to be Ker, now of the altar, is the spiritual strength, is the spiritual stability. This ultimate stability between, you know, like the having like this fixation, being grounded in four legs, stability in four legs, but also with the stability with the heart of the sky and heart of the earth. The altar is the place where we do our communications, where we talk to the other realms, where we place our offerings. So where we want to do our offerings to obtain spiritual strength. If you're feeling weak, if you're feeling depressed with this return of the TRECENA, maybe you indicate that you need to strengthen yourself from the inside. Maybe do a ceremony or to participate in activities that are going to enhance your power, your stability inside of you. So you are able to keep your feet on the floor while you're working in your tapestry, or something that you're doing for the others, or your business stuff. So you need to be able to handle that. If you don't have strength from the inside, then will consume from outside out, from outside in. I don't know if I confused the expression there, but you got the point. And so Ker is going to be talking about this inner strength that you gotta do to handle the pressure of the work. B'atz is about putting things into action, being practical in the stuff that you are doing. But sometimes, you know, we always tend to show like our piece of work. When you show to someone, they're gonna see the final result, but they are not gonna be seeing like the moments that you got frustrated because your ideas didn't connected, the moments where you didn't know what to do, and you had to spend hours procrastinating, feeling you're not being productive, the time where you're being heavy with yourself. So if you not take like that with attention, you know, like that can consume us and lead to frustration and leads us to implode, as the TRECENA showing that can be the poison, like the sense of our self-judgment in this TRECENA. Because we want our creation to be perfect, you know, to attract people, to be able, you know, to captivate, you know, like the attention of the others. There's, of course, you all want to succeed in the stuff that we gotta do, but we not gotta be prepared, you know, to know like that stuff doesn't happen, you know, like that. We have to go to so many different processes, and if you are not able to hold up from the inside of us, that can destroy us. We're not gonna be able to sustain the project. We're gonna be seeing ourselves giving up for not having the strength. Remember that you had to empty your bags to ponder, you know, what you have to carry. So if you did a good pondering about you wait like what you're carrying, like very carefully. Now you know what you gotta do to enhance your spiritual strength. Maybe you could do a ceremony to do over that. Maybe for asking for clarity, for having more balanced ideas, for not letting you overflow, or just to lose the sense of what works, like what's really like that you can grasp, or it's really solid for you to create at the end. And then we move to Kawuq 10 seed. Now 10 is the now of the convergence. Is where everything comes together, just like a river that receives many lakes, but also serves to feed the animals that are around the lake. So it receives and it gives. So it's about when you give a hand to someone, but you also receive one hand back. So like this two-way road. Where you go, you must go back. So that's the metaphor that you use for the now 10, where you want to converge one single place. That's why you can associate that with collaborating with groups or asking the help of other people. And now Kawuq is the now of the seed, is the potential of something to germinate. But it's just the potential. The seed is going to be needing like the right dosage for being able to germinate. If you just put like too little, nothing's going to come out from the seed. If you put too much, you can rotten the seed. But if the water is enough, like it's the right proportion, the seed can germinate and can become a tree. So Kawuq 10 seed in this TRECENA can talk about if you want to potentialize your project. It could be the point of the TRECENA if you see that something's getting bigger than you expected. Maybe you got this idea that you say, oh, you saw some potential, it can be like the time where I can present that to the others. Maybe see like what complement they can offer towards to your projects. Maybe they can have like some good ideas, maybe they can sponsor you, maybe they can do something that can complement and help you grow even further. Also, we can also talk about like the complements when you use, we ingest something to be able to handle more stuff. Just like when you consume lots of coffee, it can increase your anxiety. You know, something that can give you a boost can be something also that can, with time, if you don't take care, can mess up your anxiety. Or, but not just coffee, but you can also relate that to alcohol. If you use something that takes you away from your conscious mind right now, can already alter your state of consciousness. It can be dangerous if it's not in the right dosage. So 10Kawuq is about to convert the right dosage to apply to make your project bloom like in a more powerful way, to have more potential to do that. And what you can do that, you can ask the help for other people, we can help them as well. We can get insights from them, we can get maybe some works, you find some people who has specific tasks that you need the complement thing, so you can find the people that can help building your big work in this TRECENA. And then from Laur Canil we go to Laur Tor 11 Fire. The nawal 11 is the nawal that spreads, is the nawal that can spread or dilute the substance of something. We consider the nawal that has the power of water, that can dilute the substance of the other. So nawal Tor is the nawal of the fire, is the fire, the ascending fire, that represents the sacrifices that we do to be in power. Now Kat is the descending fire that we had to ponder, like the sacrifice that we are doing to maintain our life. So Tor, we talk about the sacrifice you do to achieve that. So if you buy a house, every time you pay your mortgage every month, it's now Kat, it's a task that you gotta do to sustain your big sacrifice. But after you finish paying the house, it's Tor, it's yours. It already costs you everything, so it's yours. So it's the weight of all your sacrifices. So where you have to pay, like whether with your efforts or whether with your health. So now Tor, will collect no matter what. So 11 Tor can be acting as a dangerous now because it can be a wildfire. Because remember, because the Tor to ascend needs something, needs like the briquettes, needs like the wood, it needs the wind, so it can blow and spread the fire. But if you build a bonfire without the rocks of protection and you have like grass, you have like bushes over there, that wildfire can put the forest into flames. So it can cause can be a complete destruction if you are you're excited water content in the beginning of the TRECENA. That enthusiasm can be the fuel that can make the fire goes wild, way more wild if you couldn't able to contain. And that can be dangerous for your creation, for not being able to contain, for not creating a safe spot where things can dilute or grow. You can lose your hand of your control on that. So you can end up getting frustrated or complaining about something because you just were aiming too high. So, but remember, because we have very tricky nawals that are forward in this TRECENA, such as now 3 water, because you don't have too much precision, but you can have that flow. But it's just like where it could be like you could be mixing, like if you want just to just calm down the fire, instead of throwing water, you can end up just throwing that gasoline, so you can amplify everything. So 11 Tor can be now it can spread everything, can spread your sense of how you can expand your business, but also can work as a way for you to dilute the pain you have been carrying. Maybe you just now realize you'll be carrying so much weight, maybe the sacrifice is too much for what you can handle on your own, or maybe with your team at the moment. So now you can use Tor just to come into a sense to a sense that you need to slow down a little bit, just control a little more of the fire. Okay, it's beautiful seeing like the fire that big, but it's dangerous. So it's good to go contain. It's good to have a good calculation to create things in TRECENA. Do not let like this ease of this easy sensation, which is the B'atz energy of creating that's connected to arts and spirituality. If you are not control over that, nothing can be created over there. No, all the time you dedicated, just putting that painting will serve for nothing, and you ended up getting frustrated. That's why you need to have a really good calculation so you can be objective. Because nawals is about putting things into action. It's not about just being lost in the dream world, just creating. If it's a hobby, it's okay. You just need to do something for relax, for a spiritual activity, as like a therapy. It's okay. But if you are just creating something that you want to, like your life, just to carry that, like you're gonna be like the spiritual father of the creation or the spiritual mother of the creation, you need to go calculated. You cannot just lead things in the way like that they come. Like the more prepared you are, the better the connection you're gonna be able to make. The better, like and the more effective you're gonna be able to complete your work of artistry or your tapestry in this TRECENA. And then from the 11th Tor, that can be the one that if you didn't take care of an anxiety, it can be the one that pays with your health. And then we go to 1Kawuq T12 dog. The now 12 is the element of the TRECENA where it comes as a surprise. If the now 5 causes destruction, the nature will do its work at balancing things. Remember, the scala is not about the good or the bad or just trying to say, oh, what is the good or today or the bad or today. This is our own conceptualization, like something that is related only for our species. The world doesn't think about that. It doesn't think like the way we think about our own convenience. Everything is in balance. Where there is chaos, there's going to be order, and after the order, there will be chaos again. And that's 12, the hidden balance. If there is chaos, 12 is going to bring order again. It's going to balance things in the nature. Or if things are too much in order, 12 can bring something that can put into dynamics. They're going to even stuff. So it's the element surprise of the TRECENA. Can be something that can come out of the sun, and then you have just to deal with that before you cash out the stuff in the TRECENA. And T is the now of the emotions. We talk about emotional confusion. The now of the dog, we talk about the loyalty, like being the noble, or like the authority that bites, like more in the sense of bad authority. Like if Nawal Khan, the stellar serpent, is the lawyer who is going to act on behalf of someone, you're going to intervene in the behalf of someone, so you have to be wise. Now T could represent the judge, like the judge that the lawyer is going to be acting, is going to present that. But T can be the judge that accepts bribe. So you can bribe them to get your stuff, in the way that you want. So no matter if you're going to mess up the life of someone else. Because T deals with doubts, deals with emotional confusion. And what happens when we are confused, like you're not able to do like the right move. If you are in doubt, so your next move, like the practical, is not gonna have like much solid, like it's not gonna be concrete. So you maybe ended up failing doing that. Because sometimes this emotional stuff that she can bring or that can enter in the realm of faith can be something like sometimes like too strong for you just to have like this blind stuff on that. You like to have something that you can grasp onto that, like more solid. So 12T brings like this emotion that can bring to balance. Of course, we're never gonna be so sure about the stuff that we are doing. There is always going to be a thought or two that comes there and just to put everything to chaos in there. It can make you, rethink if you are doing the right stuff, if that's the correct path. You can get confused if you're following the right emotions, or if you start the correct thing in the same place. We can get lost emotionally. and that's something that we cannot escape. So that's why 12T can be the day of the unexpected emotions that can complicate stuff. But also the stuff that can put us into balance. Because sometimes you're just in the automatic mode, maybe you lost the meaning, you lost the purpose of that. Like there is no emotion, there is no satisfaction into that. So T can happen, into the last moment to realize if that's something that we really want to, is that the light that we want to continue our faith, keeping the faith that we want that for our life. You are able to dedicate like all your efforts, all your sacrifices into that. So it's about like the emotions that come into action to make us reassure like how solid we are in your path. That come to prove if all you have built so far, it's solid enough, to be able to develop itself later, so later can focus on something else. So in this project, how B'atz can sustain by itself, like as you grow a business, as you grow a project, for example. And then we move to 1Kawuq, the 13th monkey or 13th thread. It's the accumulation of the TRECENA, where we see like all the small light of intuition that we saw in the beginning of the TRECENA that had to retract, to calculate the light of what you want to attract or what's the beauty you want to bring into your creation. So you can move forward to start, giving more ideas or to inject more force or to start putting things into action over there, but getting more ideas, trying different things if they don't work at once, so you can see what kind of tools you're gonna need. But later you have to stop to contain the excitement, to make sure your emotions don't play too much in this role of this TRECENA, so you can create things with your head in the place. So you're not just gonna be enthusiastic, something that you just gonna make you fly, but later if the wind stops, you're gonna have like a harsh fall. So it's the time for you to make a stop, to contain the excitement, to see what really works, what is really solid, so you can continue moving. So we are able to have like the 5 clarity, the overflow of ideas in like the bright ideas, or how to take those ideas that were in the dark and bring them to the light. So you can overflow with that. It becomes easier to connect the dots. You're gonna research about that so you can have like the whole structure, so you can connect here and here and here, so B'atz interweaves. So Akabao is gonna be the one really opening the tap, so B'atz can play with water, can bath with the water from Kawuq, from the storm of Kawuq. And then from 1Kawuq, so we can ponder like how many ideas you're gonna have. Sometimes many ideas gonna be carrying so much weight in your bag. Sometimes you're sacrificing yourself too much. So you have to ponder. So then you can make a decision in 7 Stellar Serpent to use what you're connecting the dots, the information that you got, what you did so far, so you can act more like with wisdom. You can act like using maybe that streetwise, of solving stuff, like how you're gonna really, put all your knowledge into practice. Like that's gonna be solidify if everything that you learned so far, like it's just an accumulation of garbage in your head, or if it's something that life taught you, that you can actually do something with that. You can change a situation. You're able to intervene. That's why you are trying to connect the dots, to be able to act precisely. And then through the return of the ancestors, so we can get their support, we can increase our communication, we can get more insights from the beyond. So then we can gestate our inner strength to be able to handle the pressure of our projects, the pressure that we put into ourselves, of wanting things to be perfect, of wanting to fight discourage, even though sometimes things doesn't work in the same speed as you wish they would work. So Belair Care is the moment for you to build your inner strength, because that's going to be the one that's going to sustain when things are kind of harder to deal with. And then we went to Laurcanil, 10 seed, to convert, to maybe ask for the others for the right complement. Maybe you can ask help. We don't need to do everything on our own. Maybe you can find the right partners, to complement the tasks to concrete our piece of art or tapestry, or could be like the convergence of the stuff that we're going to ingest to dedicate ourselves more into that. So after this convergence, we can spread and see the sacrifice. Maybe we can increase the power, maybe we can expand the business, but at the same time, depending on how the TRECENA goes, can be something that you can notice that it's consuming you, is draining all your vital energy. That's blood connecting to Thor. And then we move to 1Kawuq, that comes the emotions, that comes to even things out when it's too practical. And now you have 'B'atz, you have this accumulation of ideas. Maybe there are in this textile you are building, maybe there are some losing threads like that you're gonna be having to cut later, but you already accumulate, you already have the big picture of your creation. You already went through all the process. Maybe have been easy, could have been like difficult, but you got the process, you got this big picture that you can do. Like you're able to expand that small light of intuition that 1Kawuq gave you after, so 'B'atz were able to interweave and build a beautiful textile, for example, this piece of art, or able to get solutions to intervene, on the behalf of someone. And that's what you're going to be accumulating in 'B'atz. That's a now that can give us a sense of this spiritual strength that we got, this creation, how we connect to spirituality, how we channel this stuff, whether for our business or projects or for a hobby. It can be just a way for us just to have, just to want to unwind for the world as well. And in this way, we finish the TRECENA, the analysis of the 1Kawuq TRECENA, the 13 hollow monkey, the 13th thread, and start getting prepared for the next TRECENA, which is going to be the 1Kawuq, the 13th net, or 13 burning into ashes. That's all of these ideas, maybe carrying an extra weight that we were pondering in this TRECENA. But all of this pondering can get big, you can accumulate more weight to the next TRECENA. So that's the next TRECENA, we're going to be having to cut these losing threads. And that was it for today's analysis. Today was shorter because my time is very limited, because at 11 I have to go to a consultation with Gloria that is here right now watching the analysis. So if you have any questions about this TRECENA, I'm going to be using the comment section for you to leave your questions. I know these ones were shorter. I like to go with an easier pace so everybody can enjoy, so everybody can connect and follow. But if you have any questions, just leave that in the comment section below, that I go back along the TRECENA to reply to you, to understand if something wasn't very well connected. And for you two that are watching the live, I really appreciate. I'm really sorry for not being able to stay longer. And I wish you all a very great TRECENA ahead. So see you all in my next TRECENA analysis.